Yeah. What's up? What's up? Welcome back. Welcome back to Karrino. On Karrino Station. We're live and direct. Got some new stuff going on. I got the gangs all here. What's up, gang? Okay.
Yo.
Okay. We got
Yo, yo.
Yo.
gang is all here. So
Hello.
welcome to Karrino Station. If this is your first time, we are the Ovoid crew or the No Void crew, whichever you like to say. You know, whatever tickles your fancy. I'm Ohm3, and we got a great guest today. We have the magical Muzzy Bear here, who's been a friend of mine for quite some time. We're gonna talk about a bunch of cool shit. Probably crack out more than we don't on this. Got a feeling based on the. So we were warming up with tongue twisters. Got in here. Yeah, we're having a nice time. But yeah, what's up, Muzz? Welcome to the show.
Crisscross chrysanthemums mum me to sleep where I snore. Ah.
Okay, you trying to snore? Trying to snore on it?
I don't know what that
Trying to get
was.
me
What's
up.
up? Here we are.
You trying to snore?
Here we are.
Cause
No,
you really?
I'm not.
Cause I could. You ready?
I'm wide awake, dude.
Are you ready? I can
Oh
snore.
God.
Ready?
Oh God! Don't do
No, we're good. We were just watching.
I can't.
The stream started all dying out.
I can't. What are you doing? You were right.
I can snore.
You were right.
I got snores.
We're cracking up more than I planned to.
So for people that don't know, people that have been missing out all along on the life of Muzzy Bear, what's been going on? What's been going on in your whole life? What's been happening?
Well, you know, I uploaded my mind to the metaverse.
Did you?
I'm here now. This is me. Yeah, I've reached the singularity. I recently moved across the country to Denver from Detroit and living the dream. You know, just making music a lot. I was doing some NFT community management for the past 6 to 8 months, and now I'm focused on putting out a lot of content musically, the audio visual stuff, kind of throwing all these aces that have been in the back of my pocket out there into the world. You know.
I do know. And so what were you? I know you so tell people a little bit about your musical background, where you've been there.
Yeah. So I've been Muzzy Bear for the past 12 years. And in that time, I did a lot of touring with this guy named Grizz, who is my best friend and favorite person ever. No offense, Ohm.
Okay, I get it. I did.
You know,
I didn't take you. I mean, the tours looked pretty good. I mean, it looks like y'all have been
Yeah.
having a good time. Y'all have been having. I get it. It's okay.
Yeah, so up until the pandemic, that was everything. That was my Monday to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, everything, and always kind of making music and trying to do my own things throughout that. And over the pandemic, kind of realized and shifted focuses, and now I'm really just going all in on myself and doing a lot of disco house and other various forms of house music. I've realized that it's like it all kind of plays off of each other because every time I try and make a disco song, sometimes it turns into a garage song, sometimes it turns into a tech house song. So I make funky, groovy house music. That's what I say.
Are
That
you
I
are you playing guitar on? Because most of what you did with Grizz was you play guitar,
Yeah.
and that's your primary. Are you playing guitar on the new tunes and stuff as well?
yes, maybe less guitar solos,
Yeah.
but more definitely, yeah, definitely plenty of guitar. I mean, I realized again, like a lot of the foundational stuff for me musically was very rhythmic, like groove oriented, and that's kind of where I got my licks in on guitar,
Mm.
pun intended. And yeah, that is definitely something that applies more than ever, if I were to say so.
Oh yeah. You focused on the new wave. You moved away from Detroit and started making house music, which is the irony is real. We were just talking about that. But I
Yeah.
moved away from Detroit and started making a bunch of like live hardware techno, and I don't know. Maybe there's something there about like keeping a line, uh, space. It's a comfortable space. I think being from Detroit as a musician is like you don't realize how powerful of an experience that is until you like are gone for a while. You have to kind of go around and be like, oh wait, wow, y'all don't have like tons and tons and tons of deep musical heritage
Yeah.
just existing as a ghost in the floorboards of all the venues and shit. Like, there's a thing there that that kind of haunts you. It stays with you, gets in your bones and stuff. So, what drew you towards making house music? Because that's pretty different from. I know you made a lot of different kinds of music, and I know Grizz also makes has got a wide range of music. But what made you zero in on house?
Again, I think it comes back to what you were just saying, like being from Detroit, which is this intersection of Motown and techno, and I was playing funk guitar and blues guitar forever, and kind of just realizing that all of my favorite music, the things that inspired me and just like I enjoy the most, are all based in a groove. I think whether that's the Midwestern style with Chicago blues and house, or Detroit Motown and techno, I realize that those are the four pillars of sounds that kind of make up everything that uh, comes out of my heart. And I was trying for a long time to find different sounds and figure out what was me, but it wasn't until you know I did that inward looking, and kind of figured out maybe this thing is me. I think for a long time I was trying to make this really emotional music that like spoke to the soul and came from this deep place. And some of my other big influences are on the more uh emotional, esoteric side, and I think that I was really pushing for that for a long time, when in actuality the best way for me to translate my emotions is through a lens of like euphoric, happy, joyful music, which is that is what house music is, and disco and all that stuff. It's like
Party music.
let's yeah, let's
Yeah.
let the emotions out
Yo.
constructively, positively.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just feels really genuine and awesome, super fun.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let me also introduce the rest of the Ovoid crew real quick. We got a Finns in the chat. What's up, Finns? How you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. I'm really happy to be here. I'm bopping my head to one of Mosey Bear's tracks because I didn't know you made house, and
Ooh.
I'm listening to more and more, and it is such a tune.
Thank you.
So
Drop
I
that in the
am
chat.
excited.
Whatever you got going on
The
there.
next,
Pop that in the
yeah,
in the,
yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. We also got a Barry B's in the house. What up, Barry?
Hey yo. Hi.
Yo yo yo. How you feeling today?
Feeling good. Woke up early, made myself a breakfast taco. Had a good walk.
Ooh.
Worked on some code. It's been a nice day.
Oh, that's the recipe. Oh, fucking sick walk, a breakfast taco, and a little bit of productivity. That is actually.
Yeah, I'm here to shill raspberry chipotle salsa today. I think that's my MO.
I
Chill of
can't
the day.
fuck with raspberry,
Yeah.
but everything else about that I fuck. Raspberries did something to
Change your life.
my family. I don't know what happened. None of the males in my bloodline can fuck with raspberries. were all repulsed by it. I don't know what happened. It's just the
some
males.
some witch's curse. The males of your bloodline
Yeah.
shall never taste the
Fucking
sweet
banned
A
from
plague on
raspberry.
sweet
both of
sugar
your
of a
houses.
raspberry. Yes.
This is so
Plague on
tragic of me
precisely
to
50% of
discover.
your house. Yeah, I know.
I know.
We gotta,
But what's weird is I can
we'll
fuck
see.
with
Maybe we
blackberry,
can
which
change your life,
is
and
really
you're
similar
gonna
taste.
vibe with raspberries. Raspberry chipotle, maybe you'll vibe with.
Could be. Oh, there's something in it that makes my brainstem like shrimp up. Like my whole brainstem just curls up like a dead ass shrimp when I have raspberry. It seems dangerous. But I don't
Such a metaphor.
really.
Yeah, I will see. Maybe I'll ship you a jar of good Texas salsa. We can get it up here actually. There's a place
Oh
in
yeah,
Fort Worth
I
that
can see
makes
it be
real good raspberry chipotle. So
good in Texas. And then we also got a Vian.
Mhm.
We have our chief
Yo.
technical meme officer armed and ready. Imagine.
A proudly worn title, armed and ready, absolutely, as always.
CTM.
How you feeling, V? You're over
Legitimately a bit.
over in the UK. You're on the night shift with us.
Oh yeah, 3:30 a.m. It's all good.
Oh,
It's all good. We've been powered by that one video we've all just seen. It's keeping me awake. That's
that's
feeling good.
that's a decent power cell. So
It's better than a Monster Energy. Just watch something like that. That will switch on a certain part of your brain. It's kind of
The
incredible.
dopamine.
true.
Efficacy rises after midnight too for that one.
That's true.
Very true.
It's true. So to come back to the creative conversation, just and explore that a little bit. You also make visual art, and really, okay. So I'm sure you would agree with me that at some point in time, you know, if you've got a spanning like music career, there's a point in time where you feel like music is not enough. It feels like you need like it's felt like that for a long time. For me, it's felt like that for maybe like 7-8 years. But it feels like music's not enough, and I need to find more ways to tell my stories or to give to create it. I want to create worlds and universes. Does music stop being enough for me? Is that what have you ever had that feeling?
Yeah, I think that's a really great way to explain it. For me, I think it all became this kind of
Get on the mic a little
vision
bit.
in my mind. Oh, here I am. It all became this like vision in my mind. What is my music sound like? What is the art for the singles look like? What does the show flyer look like? What does the visuals at the show look like? Like I started to think about it in this kind of all-encompassing way. And at a certain point, you can only trust your own vision to execute. And I'm lucky that I have a couple designers that I work with, or really just one, and we kind of co-creative direct this stuff with like the graphic design end, because now it's becoming there's so many different directions that I get pulled. I need help reeling myself in, but yeah, it definitely becomes this thing where it's like I need more. There's more horizontal angles and matrices that I need to explore to fully express like what this vision is,
Mhm.
whether that's music, or more recently like getting into the glitchy analog video stuff, which I think is just kind of naturally something that I've always really loved and finally had some time to dive into. And it just all kind of feeds back into the heart of the project, which is, my creativity and my joy of expression.
What would you tell people that are just getting started on what's like some of your what's some of your top advice for people that are just getting started producing and DJing and putting themselves out there as artists based on everything that you've kind of collected and what the state of the world is right now?
Yeah. Oh man. Nobody asks for advice from me. I would say, just focus on honing your craft. That for me was something that took a really long time. And I'm lucky that I had friends like you that were able to help me in that process and kind of find myself and encourage me to dive deeper within and, express in different ways. Like, I wouldn't have felt so empowered if it weren't for the friends that I have, being like, yeah, if that's what you want to do, go ahead and do it. Um, so, I think the best advice is kind of really figure out what it is you want to be doing, like how you want to express yourself musically and creatively, and then surround yourself with people that really can lift you up when you need it, and then the rest will come. It's not about immediate success. It's been like for me, I feel like I'm just now 10 years into this journey, like really getting started and like really fully actualized. And so I think don't rush the process. Trust the process. That's my advice.
That's good shit. That is good shit. And yeah, the people that you keep around you, and that's a huge one. People that are gonna encourage you and lift you up, like
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard out there. It's hard out there. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, even if you just got one other person that you vibe with, and someone who you respect and they respect you, and you can encourage each other. I mean, like, incredible what that can
Yeah.
do for you. You're supposed to be able to create in a vacuum, and that's something that I've worked on quite a bit for myself as an artist. I mean, as you know, I went Ghost to the Woods for a little while, and just decided to just go try and find what I wanted to do, and find my, be stoked about what I was doing in a straight up vacuum, and
Yeah.
that was like super super helpful. But then once I got in the the VR scene, and I met all these like cool like-minded people, I had an explosion of ideas and creativity, and so but I think without taking that time to like figure out who I was or what I wanted to turn into first, because I really enjoy like I'm a multidisciplinary artist. Like, I love fucking with everything.
Yeah.
Real quick shout out in the chat. What up, Brent Toast? Brent Toast in the chat. So we got an Amoth in the chat. In here, everybody. We got a show love, spread love in the chat. Thanks for being here.
Shouts out to show love.
We straight
spread
up
love.
appreciate you being here with us. But yeah, that can be a lot. But I feel like if you don't love what you're doing, it's not sustainable. Like for the
Yeah.
Is there a SWA in here too? We got a SWA? Oh, what's up, Sweat? If you're not like loving what you're doing, you can kind of like it and still do it. I'm just saying, whatever it is that you're trying to go in on, just make sure that you love that thing. I guess that feels like a big.
Yeah, and I think, going back to like finding your tribe, I think that only really starts to happen. It's kind of the law of attraction where you put that energy out in the vacuum. You kind of say, you say to yourself like, I'm on some shit. I'm on my own thing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you focus up and really, start to work on that whole like getting your skills to where your taste is at, and then you find, naturally along the way you'll find people that are doing similar things and existing in similar spaces in their own little vacuums, and then you guys kind of help each other grow and grow together, grow alongside one another. Some of my like closest friends and like most helpful, inspirational friends are doing things very similar to me in a very different way, like making music, but it's completely different kinds of music, and they've become really close friends. Just kind of we're there for each other and helping each other with the process, but we're doing something so different that we're able to apply this like different vantage point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
that's been really great as well.
What's up, V? What you got?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of goes back to the whole point of going fast. You can go it alone. If you want to go far, you go with other people. Having just the smallest, you can have maybe 3-4 people in similar interests doing similar stuff, and together you can achieve quite a lot in a creative form. It's kind of incredible, and just on a morale and friendship level, it can be crazy. Excuse me. Yeah, finding your tribe is super important, and yeah, as you said, it won't be genuine and it won't work as well, maybe not work out unless you're really steadfast and doing something you love, and that's yeah, it's the best way to do it if you're creating.
Straight up. Yeah, I mean, we've been having a blast with this project. It's been incredibly rewarding to make all this cool shit with all these people that I love so dearly, and it's we share all the waves, good and bad, together. Where like it's super rad to find a pack of people to work with, and so you've recently kind of bridged a gap, Muzz, into you kind of we both kind of got into the kind of Tezos and the Hickok community stuff around a similar time. I don't remember. I don't remember. I'm like terrible with like linear time, but
It's
like
a construct.
yeah, but like that community, for instance, I wasn't, and I actually am still excited to interact with, like what's the one Barry's FX hash, right? That's got all the sick generative, like
Yeah,
a whole
Yeah, FX
community
hash is
of
excellent.
generative
One
stuff.
of my favorites right now.
Yeah, what was exciting about finding like the hen community was kind of that thing for visual art, like people that were sharing enthusiasm for the visual art, and like it's just like it's cheap, it's on an environmentally friendly chain, it's it's artists supporting artists, and that's what I loved about that so much.
Totally.
And are you still? So are you still? Have you put any pieces out lately? Are you still active over there, or what you been doing?
So I'm kind of biding my time right now. As far as releasing stuff, I have the tools, I have the skills, I have the taste, and it's kind of all aligned in a nice way. And now I'm just figuring out what the packaged product is going to be.
Mhm.
But I've definitely remained really active in that community and found some people doing amazing art in the whole analog video world. And that's kind of a place where that art flourishes and does really well. Like the glitch art thing does very well on the Tezos art world chain of amazingness, and felt really conducive to my inspiration, to spend time in that world and kind of in that space. And yeah, I mean, right now it's kind of like how do I figure out how to blend my love for audiovisual work in a way that's going to be unique and new, So that's kind of where I'm at with releasing stuff. I have like I'm calling it, I think I'm calling it the glitch tape, where it's going to be a mixtape of beats and tracks paired with visuals, and then you'll get access to the full tape if you own one of the NFTs. And that's kind of some alpha, some secret news.
Nice.
But
So there's like
yeah,
there's like a lot of mixed feelings about Web3 in the music space.
mm,
And I think there's like rightfully so, because I think there's like some genuine it's just like everything else. There's a raw ass and then bad shit. I mean, if you're a raw ass enthusiast, it's out there for you. But like there's cool ways to do this shit. There's exciting ways to do this shit, and then there's like scammy, terrible ways. Like I know a lot of there's been a lot of like vitriol and anger over people like stealing artists shit and putting it up as NFTs and making money off it and yada yada. What's your take on the intersection of Web3 and music?
well, I was a part of a pretty interesting conversation not so long ago, and someone said that Raw ass is actually healthier. Um, that was a joke, but the conversation was about
Abraham
music
Lincoln said that.
NFTs. 4 and raw ass ago. So yeah, the conversation was actually that like Web3 and NFTs and music doesn't make sense because you can't own music the way that you can own a picture, and you can't mint music on chain the same way that you can mint a piece of art on chain, like generate it through the chain,
Mm.
which I know some people are challenging that, but it was an interesting point where, like, what are you really offering someone? You're off, like, so far, music NFTs is a visual paired with audio, and it's hopefully going to get you some kind of access to something to do with the artist in the future. So I think that, right now, music and NFTs and Web3 is kind of what you make of it. If you are an artist, like if like for me, I'm going to offer a lot of things to people who want to invest money and time into connecting with me through my art and through my NFTs. Uh, and that to me feels like a way that isn't really, advantageous or capitalistic. I don't know. Like for me, it's more of just a means by which to connect with people that are real supporters. If you are down to spend $50 or a couple $100 on a one of one or something like that to have a piece of my art, then odds are we're going to get along. So I want to help you in your journey, whether that's as an artist or give you free tickets to a show of mine if you're just trying to have a good time,
Mhm.
or both. I think that there's just a lot of people, like you said, that are trying to raw ass it out here. And, I think that I'm trying to stay far away from that while still embracing this new wave of being a creator on the internet and embrace this new technology and use it, in a way that's beneficial to both parties, whether it's the creator or the collector.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I feel I've kept a close eye on it because I think having dealt with um a lot of music biz and a lot of music industry bullshit, and a lot of the middlemanning that takes place, and a lot of the power structures that are currently in place, and a lot of like sort of legacy chokeholds that are on things, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like there's an opportunity for that shit to evaporate, but it's up to it's up to artists to consolidate, to like group together to find creative ways to push the shit forward that's beneficial for everybody involved. One of the things that I think is like crucial to like any endeavor, that I'm a part of, especially, is like what's been on my mind a lot is like, I've been, player one in my mind long enough. I want to create a way to like empower other artists and other creators and other people to get into creating exciting things for themselves, to be able to support themselves with their art. And there's a tremendous opportunity with that. I've seen a couple projects that are real exciting. There's some like old techno heads getting involved with some pretty cool stuff that is way early stages right now, but that I know is coming, that is like pretty exciting, that I think that like but that's what it takes. It takes like a kind of a collective or a group of people to sort of sit in there and say like, okay, here's a new take on this shit. Like here's a new take on what you can do with the music, because in my opinion, Spotify is more corrosive than a Web3 take on supporting yourself with music. Like you're not getting paid shit, like comparatively. I mean, the math gets more and more abysmal all the time, and I don't know what it is. I do know that like, I've like you have to be getting millions and millions and millions and millions of plays every month to make a living off that shit,
Yeah.
And
I saw something that was like, I saw something that I think it was like to make a reason, like the same salary as a teacher off of streaming, which they kind of use the teacher's salary as like a metric for like, you're doing okay. You're not making as much as you should, but you're doing okay. It was like, hold on, I can pull this up. Let me just hack into the mainframe really quick.
I've
Yeah.
been waiting
Okay.
to
So the
hack the
answer,
mainframe this whole time.
I've been waiting. Yeah. It was something like 100 million streams. You know, over the course of multiple months, like 100 million
hmm
each quarter to make a decent amount of money, something like that, something crazy. And the mainframe wasn't turning out the results I was hoping it was.
Yes,
But
Spotify's
the thing is,
fucking like terrible in my opinion. It's terrible. It's like absolutely terrible. Spotify is borderline evil. I
it is
I
evil.
use it. I hate that I use it. The algorithm's really good at
Mm.
finding shit. I hate that. Like, you know, all the other shit that they do where they have producer farms and they have the playlist farms and they have all that shit, and like being in that grind
Yeah.
and being a part of that and like trying to make a living with music alone. I mean, all that shit made it an absolute fucking nightmare. Like if you don't have
It's a drudge.
yeah, if you don't have like a publishing deal and you don't have people that are really good at getting you syncs out there, you don't have a solid team for that, which 99% of people don't. You're fucked. Like you are not, you are not sustaining yourself in that way unless you get lucky. Because how many insanely talented people do we know with crazy work ethic that are just have been struggling to keep just their head above the water for, a long time. I mean, it's insane. Something's got to change.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of those people at the end of the day. Like, I had to diversify my life to figure out a way to support myself, even just in a creative way, not just music, but in ways that were creatively fulfilling. And, now that I look towards what really is possible for me, now embracing, Web3 and kind of figuring out ways that I can cut out some of these middlemen and, really connect with the people that vibe with what I'm doing. Uh, it wasn't until now that I'm kind of realizing the possibilities, but there is an insane amount of, I guess, opportunism that is coming from the people that are gatekeeping success from the millions of talented artists in the world.
Yeah.
And, now's the time I think a lot of people are realizing how sick of it we are. And it does take collectives of people to be like, or I just don't upload my stuff to Spotify and I find other ways to get my music to people.
Yeah, I haven't uploaded anything to Spotify. I mean, I have shit for plays on Om3 Music, but I just cannot pull myself to do it. Like I've got plenty of other shit up there from other stuff, but like I don't want to contribute to it. I'm mad about it. So it's like, and unfortunately it's one of those things where it's like if you talk to people outside of the music scene and they're like, oh, can I get your music on Spotify? And you're like, no. And they're like, oh, you should really get your music on Spotify and iTunes.
I know,
Fucking
fool.
get it. I know. But like it doesn't mean like I'm any less shit. I mean, it's just like, or whoever, decides to do that. It's just like killing me. But I do see some exciting movement in that space, and I'm keeping an eye on the possibilities involved there. Yeah, because unless you're playing big shows, what's up, Finn? You got something?
Oh no, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
Oh no,
in the middle.
you're good.
Yeah.
Don't you dare apologize.
No, so I what was really interesting to hear about music and the value of like that you get out of like as a return of streaming is I think there's you talked about reach, right? About being able to cut out middlemen and get to directly to fans and people who want to actually appreciate your art. And I think there's another really interesting component here about Web3 and in particular about NFTs, and I'm seeing the same thing with photography. So, like music is sort of your world, my photography is mine, and it's the same concept in that I think digital goods kind of broke people's brains when it came to value. Before the internet and before digital goods, everybody didn't have a problem with paying for a good, a piece of art. You go to a gallery, you pick up a print, you buy a CD or something like that. But then we moved most of our sort of creative expression into a digital format, and people just sort of went, well, I can reproduce this infinitely, so why would I value it? And I think I saw that happen in photography as well, is that photography pretty much died in like after 2010, after the microstock sites took over. There was no sense in ever becoming a photographer again, because all media started cannibalizing itself as well, and everyone started just taking whatever they could from people with smartphones, and there was just no more value to photography as a creative expressive art. And NFTs suddenly changed that. And I think that's part of it, is that, like, because it's an NFT and because there's an aspect of this came from this artist, it's an artist's signature, right, on a digital good. It's an artist on a digital piece of art. It's a signature. It's a certificate of authenticity. It's a certificate of where it comes from, and suddenly that, like, reconfigures people's perception of value, and suddenly it becomes okay to collect and own that piece of digital art. And I think that's the other component here about both music and photography and everything else that I think will hopefully move to a Web3 model, is that people will suddenly decide that these intangible digital creations, whatever they are, 3D assets or music or images, are equivalent to their physical, um, their physical, similar piece of art. And that, I think, is also the whole aspect of like metaverse as well, is that that's where that those two worlds sort of collide and become sort of unified.
Yeah. Well, you also have like everything you said there. I agree with, and also on top of it, I just look at it as a more technical. I've brought this up before, but I'll just keep saying, because it is the coolest aspect of it to me as an artist, is you just have like a new connection between you and the people that are supporting you, and it's up to you to, as an artist, to find creative ways to cultivate that connection. um the ownership discussion is like, that's a thing. It's whatever. It's less interesting to me. What's most interesting to me is the creative way that you can interact with that relationship between the people that are holding your shit and you. It's like having an email list, but like that email list can do some crazy shit, and it can unlock doors and new places and new spaces. And I think that's the thing that I'm the most excited about, is this new direct portal that you have to people to come up with you know creative interaction and to unlock new places. It's up to us to do creative shit with this technology, and that's we've never had anything like this. Never been, a long time ago. I thought it would be cool to, this is on the list of like 10,000 other projects like this. I actually made this thing. I made this mixtape that was designed to change constantly. And this was maybe 6 years ago. It was a mixtape that like I would post it somewhere, but it would just keep evolving. So it was like an album that would like constantly change, and you didn't know when it was going to change and when things were going to go away. And because I thought about how silly the concept of thinking about music and digital assets like in the same context of like their physical counterpart. It's silly. Like when you have a physical item, that thing is locked in tangible space. It's locked in meat space as this fucking thing, and it's not changing. It's not doing anything. It's gonna be what it is. Which there's some shit to appreciate about that. It sits there. In 20 years, it's gonna be the same thing, and you can look at it for its sentimental values, etc. But to catch that kind of medium up to where we are and what we're capable of now, and sort of to like update the dictionary definition of the terms of the kind of things that we're producing as artists. I think that some of the most exciting shit is the most far-leaning, like nerd out, deep cut, I'm really into generative music. I'm into generative art, and all that stuff is really intriguing to me because it is taking advantage of the permanent liquid, the permanent amorphous qualities that digital assets have. And so I'm excited to interact in these capacities to sort of challenge our expectations for what it means to be a musician, for what it means to be a visual artist, by updating some of these terms of expectation and having a delivery mechanism that is just as malleable, on chain to accompany that. Like I feel like I'm a fish in a new tank of water. It's really exciting. Chat, if you got anything to weigh in on this, anything you think is cool, any projects you've seen that you think are cool, whatever, the line's open. Yeah, but this is what excites me about all this, and this is kind of what for me personally. Like if I look at my 2-year vision out forward as an artist, it's to accumulate a tribe of like-minded people to go do all this stuff I'm talking about with, to go create new kind of amorphous, exciting landscapes in the intersection of music and technology and friendship, and to have a tribe of ideally non-toxic tribe. I'm sensitive to the word tribalism these days. It's just fucking rampant everywhere.
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's true.
that's where I'm coming from on it.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, just very quickly on photography, it's kind of insane how bad a kind of situation photography ended up in as an artistic medium, with obviously its links to journalism and everything like that. There's just a huge churn of stock images, and it's kind of crazy to think about when you think traditional art, or at least in digital sense, it's all consumed in the same way as digital photographical art. And I think it's definitely seeing a huge boom again, particularly considering there was a Man Ray work that was sold, I think it's the highest
Yeah.
photograph or
Mhm.
in recent times at least, which is awesome because that's a crazy experimental photographer too. But when you boil it down, you're basically looking at an image on a digital device. So it's awesome that photography's had life breathed back into it. And it's such an interesting medium once you actually get to the artistic layer rather than the stock images, for example, which is unfortunately what we're exposed to an awful lot of.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's also a lot of like what I carry also into about how algorithms and platforms like Spotify and Instagram and YouTube have all sort of led to this state of creation by algorithm, or creation to fit to an algorithm.
Oh,
We're all worried about how we capture attention on platforms, and we end up following because there's no choice, right? Like if you don't, then you're relegated to obscurity, and you don't have subscriber income, and then you're suffering from lack of income. And so this aspect of having the freedom to create, it's so incredible to watch the photography community, the photography NFT community, especially in like wildlife photography, for example, which is where I'm involved in. It's amazing to see, for example, entire conservation projects being funded through wildlife NFTs. I watched a really incredible photographer come up with an entire project to walk the Pacific Crest Trail from Canada to Mexico. And what she did was she offered 30 NFTs to fund the trip. And each NFT was sort of like, it was called the bucket list. That was her collection project. And the bucket list consisted of, like, if you bought the NFT, you could request a particular emotion or visual image or sort of meaningful moment during that trip to be captured as an image for you during that Pacific Crest Trail transversal across the country. And you were talking about like unique interactions with your community, or with your patrons, with the people who are supporting your artistic endeavors. Like you're actively engaged in the process of creating art with those people together at the same time. And I mean, that's just one example, right, of like what I've seen in the photography NFT community. And I think that's my excitement about us finding more than just like a new marketplace or a new way of reaching people, but of finally being free to pursue our artistic endeavors with just complete abandon, and then linking up with the people who actually care about what you're doing based on that complete abandon to what you want to dedicate your life to, and then also altogether being able to do it sustainably so that you're not throwing yourself away just for the sake of your art.
Yep. No, this is breaking the breaking this whole algorithmic shitstorm that we're all swimming around in, getting nashed and attacked by. I mean, like that's one of the most exciting aspects of all this shit. And it's interesting to me that there's so many people that are allegedly like kind of anti-establishment and kind of anti, you know, they're it's it's well guided energy, but then they're completely closed off to everything that has to do with blockchain tech. And like completely bypassing and not seeing the fact that this is one of the ways, not the only way, but it is a way to kind of get outside of the clutches of just three companies controlling everything and gaming your fucking brain. I mean, like the way a lot of this shit works. So if you're not an artist, for instance, and you are participating, I mean, it's brutal on everybody because engagement, like the easiest way to get engagement is to get people angry. So all of the mechanisms that are at work, that are professionally working in a professional capacity to increase engagement or whatever their outlets are for whatever it is they're representing, they are playing this game with these apps to basically to piss people off, to incite rage, to incite all this like negative shit. And as an artist, when you're caught in that, look, like you're supposed to be able to express yourself. You're like, that's the whole point of art, is to be able to, crack open this, this part of you, or I like to think of it as like you find this corner of the universe and defend it with, a particularly sharp stick for, a moment in time. And like, you're supposed to, like, that's a vulnerable thing as it is. And so to have to feel like you have to consider what the algorithm likes, which means like what this like weird baseline target, moving target is, that is this like the moving target is the movement of the target is determined by the symbiotic sort of flow of the algorithm's influence and what people are on about. And so artists are afraid to step away from that because they won't get any engagement. And then they're afraid to step away from things that are too unfamiliar because they won't get shared and they won't get any engagement there as well. And it's just a crushing thing. And then you combine that with the tribalism that's created by these systems. And you have all these people that basically use that as an excuse to, on one side or the other, like, these people think this thing, so fuck them completely, and I'm perfectly within my right to say fuck them completely, because they believe in some idea that I don't, and that gives me the right to be an asshole. And then the other side does the same thing, and somewhere in the middle there, you're supposed to find new ways to inspire people and support yourself, and as an artist, and it's like fucking insane. So we need new systems. We need new shit. We need to explore new spaces. And for me, I think keeping an open mind, even if I'm initially turned off by things, is like everything for combating these systems that are kind of at play.
Yeah, well, I think that there's a joy in, for me at least, like diving deep and finding how each system works best for not only my creative process and connecting with people, but also like my mental health, and just like, okay, for instance, right? TikTok comes out and now all of the Instagram people are TikTok people. And all of the social media gurus are like, well, we're jumping ship on this other one and we're on this new one. And it's like, well, fuck. Now, me as a person that does all of my own social media, I need to learn this new thing. and I need to fucking create content that the algorithm likes. And
Now you're outside
I
doing a
need to-
fucking dance to your own song somewhere in front of a fountain or some shit, wearing a
exactly
fucking goofy hat.
check.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy is there's a fucking TikTok dance called the Muzz now or something like that.
Oh,
It's
shit.
like, dude, I'm muzzing every day until someone notices me, and it's like, I come on, like I'm not gonna do that. Like I'm not gonna contribute to that, but I am seeing, I am seeing it as a way. It's like, oh, cool. Well, their algorithm is really good at finding people that like the thing that they like, right? So if I really like producing music, all of a sudden now all of my content that I see on my feed is music production tips, for instance, right?
Right.
So my whole approach to it is like, I'm just going to put up raw, here's Dan, here's Muzzy, just here's a brain fart of a video really quick, and it's just a way for me to be vulnerable in a new way with people that it might see my shit. I think it's all about adapting to systems and making them also adapt to you and the way that works for you.
You know what else? You know what else is good for adaptation?
Nicolas Cage?
Tongue twisters. I think
It's
time for a tongue twister break. Hold on, let me.
I think, yeah.
We were doing this to get warmed up here.
I'm
Where
gonna
we
adapt.
Tongue
I'm gonna
twisters for
adapt
kids.
we got
rubber
Tongue
baby
twisters for
buggy
kids.
bumpers.
we got if you got a heater tongue twister in the chat, let's go, because oh man, these are next level. I had some hold on, these are yellow butter, purple jelly, red jam, black
I
bread,
was
spread it thick,
ice
say it
cream,
quick.
you scream, we all scream for ice cream, a tongue twister.
What could go wrong with this one? I
That's the-
slit the sheet I slit, and on the slitted sheet I sit.
All right. Nothing at
Alright,
all.
3 times in a row, come on.
Okay,
Yeah.
wait. All right, hold up. I slit the sheet. Okay, but yeah, this is making me say I shit sheet. Fucking hell.
I shit on the
I
sheet.
shit on the. I slit the sheet I slit, and on the slitted sheet I
Shit
sit.
on
Like this, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say I shit sheets. I slit the sheet I slit, and on the slitted sheet I sit. Okay, I got that one. That one's good. Yes, the arsonist had oddly shaped feet. That I said the arsonist secured a bank loan. That was, I think I combined two of them.
Arsonist secured a bank loan. Yeah, that one's the
Oh
That's the
shit!
Anchorman.
Look, they're talking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
Eminem.
that-
We,
cinnamon
that
is
one's
a
the
cinnamon
Human Torch
synonym.
failed to secure a bank loan.
oh, see this one to sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock awaiting the sensation of a sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper on a big black block, to sit in solemn silence in a dull dark dock in a
Yeah.
pestilential prison with a
Wait, whose-
lifelong lock
whose
awaiting
beef
the
was that?
sensation of a sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper on a big black. Okay, that one's not that hard.
I have many leather-bound books, and my apartment smells of rich mahogany.
Shit.
That one's pretty good. Mine earlier was amidst the mists and coldest frosts, he thrusts his fists against the posts and still insists he sees the ghosts, which is a good one. I think that one's actually kind of hard
That one is.
to do.
I got one. Six sick hicks, nick, 6 slick bricks with picks and sticks. See, this is all Eminem's doing. Eminem's just doing just writing tongue twisters. That's it.
Napkins. Napkins and napkins.
Napkins. That shit is fucking.
The arsonist has oddly shaped feet.
Oh man, I wish there's some Spanish tongue twisters. Yeah,
You
tongue
have to
twisters
say
in
it
other
like
languages. I want to hear.
Hermione in Harry Potter. That's the gist of it. You gotta say it like Hermione in Harry Potter, doing spells.
It's
like,
Leviosa.
the arsonist has oddly shaped feet.
Yeah, see, you should be
It's
reading these.
oddly
V. Where's
shaped feet.
Okay, yeah, I should be reading these.
Arsonists, not arsonists.
Arsonist.
my rap? If you must cross a course, cross cow
There's an
across a crowded
emphasis
cow
on the
crossing,
arse.
cross the cross course cow across the crowded cow crossing carefully. Let's go. Got that one.
Hey, that's pretty good. Damn.
Damn, yeah.
And you can a can
And now
into an
reading
uncanned
from
can like a
Tongue
canner can can a
Twisters
can
for
into an
Adults.
uncanned can. I think so, but you can imagine an imaginary menagerie manager managing an imaginary menagerie. I might, I should be
we
doing
had
these.
we got somebody in chat with unique New York. Unique
That's
New
a-
York,
yeah.
unique New York, unique New York, unique New York, unique New York.
You're good at that. You're good at that one.
Unique New York. Unique.
I
Okay. No,
I always say I
Hey.
always end up
There
saying
we go.
unique Unork. I always send.
Neat, neat,
Yeah.
New York.
I wish to wash my iris wristwatch.
I wish to wash my Irish wristwatch. Yeah, that one always gets me. Irish wristwatch always destroys me.
Yeah.
We started off with Netflix and chill,
Sorry?
and
Near
then
an ear, a nearer ear, a nearly eerie ear.
and the Irish wristwatch.
It does sound like a maneuver, doesn't it?
It does. It
It's
sounds like a
bad.
wrestling move or a sex move. What is it?
Oh, Amos.
Oh,
you
he's
got
coming off the
one.
top rope with the Irish wristwatch.
In both contexts, that's
I don't know
funny.
if I meant wrestling move.
Top rail.
I don't
He's
know.
climbing up the turnbuckles. Here comes the Irish wristwatch.
I don't know. The date was going fine until I asked her. You know, she was into the. She ever had an Irish wristwatch? I got up and went to the bathroom, and now gone.
Oh god.
It's even worse when I told her I was going to give it to her from the top rope.
I remember, I forget what it was, but there was like some TV show where the dude had a bed that was like a wrestling ring.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I've seen that.
He's like a wrestling fanatic, and he had the ropes and the turnbuckles.
That's like 2 levels above a race car bed. The rules.
This one's this
Extra
one's,
level
you should
if
read.
you have if your parents dress as a referee. You know.
This is so fucked. So if V, I think you should read this. It feels like you should. This surely Sylvia swims. Shrieked Sammy, surprised. Someone should show Sylvia some
Okay, let me
strokes
get
so
some
she shall not sink. Because I got the shawl.
Lesser leather,
like-
never weathered, wetter weather better.
That
Whoa.
one's good.
Yeah.
That was pretty
Surely
good.
Sylvia swims, shrieked Sammy, surprised. Someone should know Sylvia some strokes so she shall not sink.
See, it sounds better when V does all of these. All of them. Imagine that.
If a dog chews shoes, whose shoes does he choose?
That's true. Speaking of dogs,
Oh lord.
Speaking of shoes,
look at this thing. Look at that.
Oh.
Tell us, who's
We're gonna
this?
show my
Who-
little pupper.
Who is this on? Yeah, I got him up right now. Who is this?
My little pupper.
Yeah.
That's Frankie.
It's Frankie.
That's baby Frankie. My muse. Muzzie's muse.
Now that.
Which did he choose?
Oh no, we're gonna spend
A
the whole
fuse
rest of
and
this
fuse
thing.
of.
dug
I'm
ourselves a tongue
thinking in
twister hole.
tongue twisters now.
Is it?
But yeah, so you know she's in the tutorial zone right now. So she's selling seashells by the seashore in the Seychelles. Yeah, that's our baby girl. Well, I guess once she's fixed, she's just our baby dog. That's just my baby dog.
That's
We
a-
went with Frankie.
What kind of
so
dog
we
is
can
that right
call
there?
her- That's a Bernedoodle, the Bernese Mountain Doodle.
They're just
It's a
making shit
rare-
up now with dogs, aren't they? They're just
That's-
fully
yeah,
making
yeah.
shit up.
They're just hitting the generate button, and they're like here it
Procedural
is.
dogs generation.
Procedurally generated.
Fully
doodles.
FX hash minted, fully procedural.
Procedurally
Oh, God.
generated doodles.
That's gonna happen. Oh
The
god,
full-
people
the
are gonna
full
That's
NFT.
already
That's
that's gotta already be a
People are gonna fucking
you guys,
NFT.
you guys
dogs.
joke.
No.
There is a game where you can generate dogs made of shapes, and it rules. It's called Wobble Dogs.
Wobble
And that's
dogs?
100% accurate advertising.
What-
You, like,
what's it
breed
called?
dogs
Wobble
in, like, a
dogs?
matrix
Oh, yep.
Drop a
and
link in the
square dogs come out.
in something.
It's so good,
Like-
and it's a great soundtrack. Let me drop that because I lost many hours of my time
Playing
making
Wobble
wobbly
Dogs?
dogs.
And they just kind of
Seriously.
live, and then you crossbreed them and like get new strains of dog.
And they have amazing like default names. They'll just be called like Biscuit or Drip. I'd love to know how they came up with the names for it. It just
Tell you what, I'm never
Yeah.
Someone
naming
said-
one of my pets is Drip. That's not one that like. Come here, Drip.
Rip.
Drippy.
Wobble dogs. Wobble dogs.
Got
Yeah.
That
That was
our dog.
consistent. All right.
So we got like a piece of mail for our dog, like her insurance tag or whatever. And I forgot that we gave her a middle name, so now her name is her full dog name in the eyes of the dog government is Frankie Young Trippy.
That's
in the
perfect.
eyes of the government.
I think.
In the eyes of the pet
Young
overlords.
Trippy?
The middle name is Young Trippy. And it was really weird to see on like a piece of mail.
I can see that.
Frankie Young Trippy.
Wobble Duck. So what's the point of this, V? Like, what are we doing here? You just...
So it's just meant to be like a casual chill game, and as you like feed them and crossbreed them, they develop like different genetic traits, and eventually you end up with dogs like that spin in circles like this, and they're just called cheese, and they're odd shapes. It's kind of good. It's a great time killer. It's a very relaxing game.
Some
so-
floppy ass dogs. They're shitting too.
It's great.
They're shitting.
They do,
stay
and you have to
shitting.
stop them from eating it, just like real life.
'Cause they'll overeat. What?
Oh yeah.
What itch
Oh,
does
and
this
they develop like
scratch?
lava.
I feel like this scratches some specific psychological itches.
This scratches
you've ever
somewhere
had-
between Nintendogs and the Viva Pinata games.
Yes.
Yeah.
Throw in a little Animal Crossing, but like Animal Crossing breeds. I don't know.
Wow, you could see
I
their
don't know.
fucking gut microbiome.
Wow.
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 Animal
That's
Crossing.
how I. That's how I.
Animal
yeah.
Crossbreed.
I calibrate my my voice. I go wow.
Buster's
Wow.
gut. That sounds like a bar.
Wow.
You
It
know,
does have spore vibes. You right? Go ahead, Marchie.
Spore vibes, yeah.
Spore
Archie.
vibes. I'm gonna get this game now.
Yeah, there's like.
This is the rest of my day.
Let's see. I mean, I think it's cool. I love really colorful games with that are like I don't know. I feel it. I get it. V. I'm not sure. I feel like it just creeps up on you. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck around, and make a wiggly dog, and then like 13 hours later, you're
13 hours
you
later, you have
fucking-
19 new
Yeah.
wiggly dogs,
Yeah.
and you're inspecting their gut microbiomes
You
to
have
see which
dogs
ones
with
to-
wings and
pass
like
down the
dog
right
eggs
genetics.
waiting to hatch. Is yeah,
Dog-
does.
dog
man.
eggs.
Yeah, so the dogs develop in a larva like cocoon,
larval form.
and they hatch from the ceiling and kind of just fall on the floor. It's
That's
interesting.
that would be grotesque if it weren't this art style.
yeah.
and
You
that's,
would
I
need
think,
to
a
have
great
it be
thing.
that. Like this
Yeah.
could be a vastly
Um,
different game if you did it in like H.R. Geiger stylings
Just-
or like
Yeah.
wobble dogs, but in a very different font.
Wobble dogs. the
xeno-
dark
xenomorphic
dimension.
like
Yeah.
sci-fi bio
real.
madness.
Wobble xenomorphs. I'm in. I'm in
Proper
for that.
dog body horror. No. So actually, slight. No. This is a segue. Finn and I have been like the deepest dive on like aesthetic, like names for aesthetics recently.
Okay.
We're talking about this being like, very much like Spore / Viva Pinata / some like Nintendo stuff going on. That sort of like pastel shapes glued together style.
You got a name
But
for it?
Finn and I have been diving in because I don't know if I have a name for this one. Maybe I don't know. Like there's this whole aesthetics wiki out there that we've been diving into.
Really?
Started off because I found a hashtag on Twitter for an aesthetic people are referring to as cassette futurism, which is it's getting placed between like if cyberpunk is like 2020 and like upwards, and like retro future is like 1950s or 60s views of the future, like Jetsons kind of style.
Mm.
Then there's cassette futurism, which is like all of the sort of weird interstitial tech that like a lot of Japanese stuff from the 80s is like not quite digital and not quite analog, like a little of both, and it all had this like really forward-looking vibe to it.
This
that
is
I've
my
been
aesthetic.
seeing referred
Cassette
to as well. I
futurism.
noticed your PC there in front of you is very, very cassette futurism.
Everything I love.
Got the Osborne.
Every aesthetic that I love. Every aesthetic decision that I make is either based on Akira or Alien. And that is, I feel like, cassette futurism
Mm.
in a nutshell.
Yeah, Alien's got a lot of that.
Mhm. Everything
little bit,
looks old,
little bit
but it's-
grungier. Akira's like full of it.
yeah.
Mechanical switches everywhere, and very like CRT looking screens, despite everything being like so high tech. They're synthesizing, psychic Neo people.
Yeah.
This
I actually am waiting.
reading these negative reviews. People get stressed about this fucking game. I mean, it's overwhelmingly positive. There's like 2,300 reviews, and I just wanted curious because there's like only 50 negative ones. People are fucking
Right,
stressed
everybody's
out.
really
Like,
happy
want this
about it.
game for relaxing and
People
fun sandbox experience, but honestly, I have not gotten a lot of the low stress fun vibes I've been hoping for. Having more than maybe 4 or 5 dogs at a time turns this game into something that's really stressful for me.
This is like a whole like multi-paragraph review on why they're stressed out by wobble dogs too,
Yeah.
which is a lot to do for yourself.
I want to read one of these out so bad. Let me open
People
Steam.
just kind of saying,
God.
I wanted a pet simulator, but what I got was an animal husbandry simulator. Okay. That's a hot take.
I mean, you got what was. It sounds like
You
that
have
was
to-
on the
you have
tin.
to feed
Like,
them. You can't just let them die.
Animal
You can.
husbandry
You can feed them to
simulator.
each other.
Oh, here's
You can feed them-
the
Okay.
strict analysis. This is more of a breeder simulator than a pet simulator, and the core game is built around collecting mutations and making the wobble dogs look a certain way. Oh. I mean, people, yo, just wobble. It's called wobble dogs. Fucking
Let them wobble.
wobble. That's not wobble energy.
until his gene pool.
You just, yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
No, but most of them are positive. I mean, like 2,500 positive versus 55 negative. It's almost unbelievable. I mean, we should send this to Wobble Dogs as like an endorsement somehow. Can we get sponsored by Wobble Dogs?
That would be amazing.
The dogs wobble. Positive review. See, these people get it. The
It's-
dogs-
Literally, so many people are just enthused with the fact that they got what the title said.
dogs are indeed wobbly.
I get it. They wobble. I get it
Dogs.
now.
It's literally
Wobble dogs.
the dogs wobble.
They
good
wiggle
game.
and they
that's
woggle.
literally it.
Wow. All right. Well,
Wow.
good find.
The animation for them wiggling is amazing. I do have to say, it's very bendy. They're just kind of, yeah.
Yeah, Amos,
play the
I've
game.
seen
It's good.
I've seen what you're
I'm
talking about.
getting
That gene pool. I have seen that. That shit is super cool. I kind of want to play it. I like stuff I like things like this that have like some engaging mechanics and that have like filled music. Like it's weird, like things that are what do you call that? Like things that have like some substance to them or beneath them, and there's like some carefully curated experiences or strategic experiences, but it looks fucking ridiculous. Like it looks like this. Like I actually really like shit like.
I agree.
There's a lot of good like Japanese games like that, or at least they look that way, and I haven't played them. I'm not like the biggest gamer of all time, but I feel like I see. Well, that's good. We got
Yakuza series mini games are the best for that. Like they don't matter really at all, and they're basically games by themselves, but there's so much depth to them.
They're so high effort.
It's great. It's crazy. Yeah.
well, we've
Like the cabaret in Yakuza 0, like that's its own game. I need that as its own game. It's so good.
Here's my question before we go.
Yeah.
Before I have to delete transmission or end transmission. I just ordered the box set of Akira, the manga.
let's go.
And I've been reading the Osamu Tezuka Buddha manga, which is like the entire story of Buddha in manga form.
Yeah.
What have you guys been reading that's been inspiring you lately? Or what media have you been consuming that's been you're like it transports you, you know?
I'll go last.
Yum. I'll go first. Manga, Land of the Lustrous. Hoseki no Kuni has one of the prettiest mangas I've read recently. Like just gorgeous paneling, gorgeous scene setting. Not really sci-fi, but delicious. And visually, I've been watching through The Expanse for the first time, and that's been
Gotta watch that.
pretty fun. Pretty fun. You would. We're midway through. We started season 5. You would kill for. Yeah, no, you gotta watch it.
Gotta watch it.
It's your shit for sure. Big expansive architecture and some nice thematic stuff going on. It's good.
Right. Next. What
Uh,
media are you stoked on lately? Oh. Oh.
Despite this, I have not been reading. No, I've been taking in a whole bunch of just like classic Hollywood and like IMDb top stuff that I probably should have watched. I realize how woefully kind of uncultured I am when it comes to just classics. I've just watched like LA Confidential, loads of crime movies like LA Confidential, like Departed, things like that. And yeah, just kind of getting in touch with things I probably should have seen and the more commonly enjoyable things, because there's still a lot of perspective to gain from it, particularly with strong like movie directors and things like that. It's easy to miss some great stuff, and I've done a particularly bad job of keeping up with it, so that's me.
Nice. What you been on, Finn?
Well, I've definitely been enjoying the Expanse with Barry. That's been I have like such a desire for a really good long form space opera. We were talking about cassette futurism a little bit ago, and Cowboy Bebop, which is kind of like one of my all-time absolute favorite anime creations by Shinichiro Watanabe, was just like that also kind of actually falls into cassette futurism. But in terms of recent stuff, Expanse, and then also I've been reading a really good book that's called A Path with Heart from Jack Kornfield, about meditation, and it's very much it's from the Jack Kornfield teaches the Thai forest meditation technique, and it's just very much about being in touch with sort of these core human processes of love and awareness of that love, and it's a very comforting practice. So meditation can be really hard and intense and perhaps a little bit prickly. This is very soft, like a blanket, and some really beautiful prose. So that's been really inspirational here in the last month.
Yeah, so I've been going hard on Star Trek. Eat going through at dinner, just going through like the Next Generation and going through Deep Space Nine. Tried to go through Voyager, but it sucks so bad that I can't stand it. Writing is killing me. And so that I could kind of get into there's only like 4 episodes that matter in the whole thing. They just borked that whole situation with thickest setup. Could have been so cool, and especially given I'm not gonna go off anyway. And then I mean, come on, you had everything. It's such a cool concept. Like, as soon as they're like, oh, we're gonna turn the recreation zones into like hydroponics bays, and we're gonna figure out how to like live on a spaceship that's like, because it's 75 years back to where we belong, yada yada. Fuck Voyager. And Janeway's a sick captain. She's great, and like every time it looks like she's about to like get into some shit, I'm like, oh yeah, let's go. And then yeah, they just dropped the ball. But anyway, we had TNG and DS9, which is fantastic. I really liked Star Trek Prodigy, which was the new animated story. I liked it because it just is beautiful. For one thing, the art direction's fucking incredible. Paramount has been doing some slick shit with the aesthetics of the new Star Trek stuff. I'm like Picard is badass. So the first season of Picard, I really. So I've been kind of on that wave, on that tick, and then in terms of reading, I'm like just like constantly consuming the weirdest shit. So I'll go find like I've dropped some of it in my home Discord like server. I'll find someone just like writing a poem like filled with existential dread about sitting there with an onion. I like shit like that. I like finding people like pretty much shredding the tapestry of their minds from like back in the day. I'm really interested in old like essays and old like writing. But I'm into art books. I consume art books like constantly. Dune art book is badass. The Doctor Strange art book for the first movie is badass. There's so much detail that goes into the movies that doesn't make it, so much context and everything doesn't make it off the screen. And really, I feel like every movie should have another movie that goes with it where it pays attention to all the individual artistry that takes place, because people put a lot of fucking time and effort into designing and crafting all these individual things. And when you learn about like all that and all the collective symbolism and the toiling and the intention behind all this stuff, and you go back and watch this shit again, it's so rewarding because you get double punched with like all of the potency of the symbolism and the potency of the intention. So I really love art books for that reason too. And then there's a book called The Age of Data that I've bought a bunch of art installations that like physical and generative components. It kind of spans a lot of different projects, installation pieces. Beautiful. Well, yeah, I've been on. That's a good question. Good question, Muzz.
Yeah.
Well, it's been about an hour and a half. And you know, we gotta go work on Mal. Mal's here, but she lost her voice and is actually still cranky, still crabby. Mal is the ship's computer, and is an AI. And when I asked if I said, "You gonna join us today?" We're trying to figure out what's going on. She didn't say anything. I'm not feeling well, so I need some time alone. Please go back into your room. So, asked me to go back into my room. We are no Mal this episode. There. Also, made progress on spawnable objects in the space here. I've been working on that for a couple of weeks and had some luck with that last night. So we will definitely have that going, I'd imagine, by the next time. You'll be able to spawn some objects and party with us in here, and also some things that are tied to stream events will take place because we are in the vacuum of space. Behind me there is outer space. Actually, behind me there, Teleformer, a seed vector. It's a giant fucking mech that is designed to transport stelliforms, which you can learn about if you go to ovoid.io. And yeah, or come in the Discord. We have tons of fucking lore in the Discord, tons of logs, tons of stuff to get lost in. We're in there too, and I appreciate y'all hanging out with us. I appreciate Ovoid Crew and Muzzy Bear. Let me drop your art in there again. If you've got any links you want to throw in the chat, please throw them in there. But thanks for being here, homie. It was fucking awesome to catch up with you.
Oh, I'll be back.
Oh yeah.
I'll be back.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
It was a joy.
You should
Yeah.
finish hacking the mainframe.
V, there hasn't been enough memes. I just feel like
Did you manage to hack yourself onto the wrong mic? Hold on, no wait. Muzz, did you manage to hack yourself onto the wrong mic?
Did you hack yourself off
Me?
the Oh yeah, you did. Yeah,
No, he
You've
hacked
been
himself
the
into a
onion,
well. No.
I got
Well,
sick
into
cookies
the
on.
Taco
No,
Bell
you
mic.
must have fallen down. You must have fallen down that ventilator shaft with B.
happens.
We gotta go back.
Yeah, B's stuck
Yeah,
down
we gotta
there
go
too.
rescue both of you.
He is fully stuck. All right, y'all. Well, we'll be here. Come through, pull up on Tuesday for the meditation. Every Tuesday we're meditating, and every Thursday we're hanging out in Karrino. And then next week I think we're also going to do another stream where it's kind of an after hours situation where we're just kind of sitting in here fucking around. Yeah, we're gonna do that. Come and keep your eyes out for that. We're just gonna really dive deep.
Out a little bit.
Yeah, dive deep into just some of that right there. Exactly. I mean, you know what? I want to see it again. No, I don't know about you. I need to see.
I'd love to see it. Please.
You just ride us out.
Karrino. We'll see you next Have a great week. Have a real good weekend. We love you.